see. I wanna go and bounce the moon like a toy balloon. You and I are just like a couple of tots running across the meadow, firing up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so young. You make me young. You make me feel that spring has sprung. And every time I see a grin, I'm such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I wanna go play hide and seek. I wanna go and bounce the moon like a big balloon. You and I are just like a couple of tots run across the meadow, grabbing a ball. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, lots of bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so, man, I just feel so. You make me feel so young. You make me feel so young, baby, but so young. You make me feel so young. You make me feel so young.
got just about a minute on the hour. 7 o'clock, just reminding you, 7, top of the hour, we bring to you the program Enhancing Quality Education. Do stand by for that program.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's program, Enhancing Quality Education. Today is Thursday, April 30th, 2026. And the topic for tonight is building a mindset towards loan usage. We will be streaming live on ZJB Spirit of Montserrat's Facebook page. And you may also call us if you have questions for our panelists on 491-27227 or 491-9064, or send us a WhatsApp on 495-2885. My name is Hyacinth Bramble Brown, and our panelist, Dr. Gary Morton, was with us in 2024 July when he spoke to us about building a mindset towards entrepreneurship. But tonight he's going to create a marriage between the two. All right? Usage, loan usage, entrepreneurship, business. Dr. Gary Morton, welcome to tonight's program.
Hey, well, Hyson, thank you so much. It's an honor to be in the same space as you. Yes, we're high-fiving each other. We're high-fiving each other. It's definitely an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on the show. Back then we really dropped some nuggets.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that we can drop a few more nuggets of wisdom tonight to help others.
That is the point. We have a responsibility to give back and to ensure that those who are listening, whether online or via ZJB radio, that they would learn something from what you have to share with us tonight. So should we jump right in? Are you ready?
I'm always ready. I'm born ready. I'm on Russian.
All right. So obviously, I'm going to ask you to share a bit about yourself.
Sure.
And then a bit about your new role supporting the government of Montserrat and its people.
Sure. So it's an opportunity here in Montserrat to really bring a lot of my skills that I've acquired over the years working in corporate, working in real estate, being an entrepreneur myself, and bringing them to bear as a program manager for an amazing program. That's the MBPF, the Montserrat Business Progressive Fund. Soft loan program, and it's an amazing initiative that has already helped a lot of people and will help a lot more people in Montserrat. So I'm excited to be helping on that.
Yes, we're definitely happy to hear. And I know that you were on ZJB with Basil on Tuesday.
Yes.
So this is another way to spread the word.
Of course, yes.
Yes. So let's move on. You were here on this program in 2024, as I alluded to earlier, when you shared with us your thoughts on building a mindset towards entrepreneurship. This evening, we want you to look at our mindset and how it can influence our actions towards using loans to improve our business ventures. Can you share if you see a connection between the two? And if so, how such a connection would play out, to the benefit of or detriment of the small business person?
Yeah, Hyson, thank you for asking that question. I think that's an excellent question. My answer is absolutely yes. There is a direct connection between entrepreneurial mindset and really responsible loan usage. It's direct and it's inseparable. And so, when we talk about entrepreneurship, we're really talking about a set of cognitive and behavioral habits. It's identifying, the opportunity, right? With the opportunity at hand to make money. It's planning strategically, because that's key to getting to achieving whatever the goals of that business is. It's managing risk. How do you manage and mitigate or eliminate risk? It's exercising discipline, and that's really key. Those are the same habits that determine, determine whether a loan becomes a tool for transformational growth or a loan becomes a tool for source of financial strain. So those keys and habits and the discipline around being an entrepreneur is the same as managing a loan or any kind of financial instrument.
Okay, so based upon what I'm hearing you say, you need similar skills to manage the loan as being an entrepreneur.
Yes, you do. Yeah. You do. You've got to be consistent. You have to think about, contingency plan. Everything doesn't always work out, the way that you originally go into it. Sometimes you don't have all the steps marked out, and you might expect to you might be shooting for, the stars, but you get to the moon, right? And so you have to think about, from a contingency standpoint, what do? You have to think about being conservative. Hey, you can get this amount of money, but if you don't need that amount of money, you get what you need. And so that you've got something that's more manageable, more conservative. And so, if things work out even better, you're in a better place. And so you've got to, think from that type of mindset, not only for being an entrepreneur, but also, managing any loan. So, it's very direct, and I think inseparable type of habits and skills and consistency in terms of approach to both.
But I think that's probably why some persons don't even try. They don't become an entrepreneur, or they don't want to take the chance to get a loan.
Yes.
Because they're worried about everything.
Yes.
They're worried about the risk.
Yes.
So what would you say to someone who is out there then, who is thinking about getting a loan, but they're worried about what they should get? They're even worried about what they should get the loan for, although they have ideas in their head.
Yeah, that's also a really good question. What folks need to really think about is really getting a solid, viable business plan. And say, hey, I want to, start a car cleaning service. You have to think about, okay, how many cars are in this market, right? And of this market, so say there is 100 cars in this market. I might be able to get 10% of them. If I get 10% of them, right, that means it's 10 cars out of that 100 market. And of that 10 cars, hey, I can charge, $10 each car. So then I'll be able to make $100. So, and if I'm, able to do that on a monthly basis, that's $10 in revenue that I'm generating. But I might need capital today to buy the hose and to buy the vacuum and that kind of stuff. And to get that, because you're not going to be able to start the business without those assets, right? And so, that's where capital is required. And that's where you start thinking about, okay, well, you might need to borrow that to get that business off the ground. And so, say you borrow the money to buy those, and it's going to cost you $2 a month for that. Now, if you're saying, hey, I'm going to make, on 10 cars, $10 each, and, that translates into $100 that you're going to make. If it's costing you $2 a month for that capital, right, to get the equipment, yes, that makes sense. That's only 20% of, that's only a fraction of what you're making per month. That because it gives you a lot of cushion for error. Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? And what you want to do is not just to be risk averse, because that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You don't want to not take any risk, but you want to take a calculated risk, right? So, you would look at, say, hey, I've got all this cushion for error, right? And so if something is, maybe I don't do 10 cars a month, maybe I do 8. So then, instead of doing 10 cars would have been 100, but you're doing 8, so that's $80. But still, the amount that you're paying to acquire the capital that's needed to start that business is still a lot lower than $80. So in that sense, it makes complete sense. What you don't want to do is that you don't want to take a risk where, okay, well, it's so tight, or you're using best case scenario. And sometimes best case scenario don't always work out. So you always want to be conservative. And then if that conservative plan is solid, that's what I mean when I say solid, and then you've got a lot of cushion, that's where you take the leap, right? And that is going to likely position you for success.
Okay, I definitely am following you.
Awesome.
I'm hearing from what you said, I'm hearing you need our students, our parents, those listening to be problem solvers, because you said you're out there observing what's happening in the community and coming up with critically thinking about what small business to become large that you can go into.
Yes.
And when you, after you've made that decision, you need to also have a mindset that allows you to then say, there are loans available with the MBPF fund, and so let me get a positive or a very good business plan, come to you. You help them with whatever they need, if it needs to be adjusted.
Yes.
And then they dive in.
Yes.
But they're taking manageable risks.
That's right. I mean, what folks got to do, is, they've got to look at, one, where are the pain points? If you think about pain points, and when I say pain points, okay, I'm at home and I want to get some food, but I don't want to drive down to Little Bay. That's a pain point for someone. So how do you solve that pain point? Like, okay, maybe I start like a delivery service, right?
Okay.
So I talk to the restaurants and, I advertise something on Beg, Borrow, Buy and say and, you charge this amount and then you can go pick up the food and deliver. Immediate opportunity, right?
Sure.
You can, you think about where there's gaps in the market. Like right now, there's a number of folks that, applied for kind of a fisheries type of equipment to help with them get out and be able to buy, more fish and all that. That's absolutely wonderful. It's taking assets that was otherwise sitting down and now they could make it into productive assets.
Definitely.
And now they're going to catch more fish. But when they catch more fish, who's going to clean the fish?
True.
Right? So there's a gap. And so you got to think about, okay, well, where are the gaps in terms of, getting product to the customers and how you can fill those gaps? When you think, too, about all the businesses that are here in Montserrat, most of them don't even have a website. You can go on AI and you can build a website in 5 minutes. And hey, charge them $100 each and you know what I mean? And then you can maintain it and so forth. So there are so many opportunities abound. And so you just have to keep an eye, and that's an entrepreneurial eye, meaning look for the pain points, look for the gaps, and those are opportunities to make money.
Okay, I love that. Let's see my question here now. There are many people who started several different business ventures before deciding on a specific business. There are others who think about the business but do not follow through. Perhaps due to the startup costs. You might have touched on some of this. What other suggestions or thoughts you would like to share with these persons, those who are stalling?
This is a two-part question you asked. You asked, some folks that starts a lot of business, and you're talking about folks that you're taking no action.
Yes.
And so the first, it's totally okay to think about, because there's, as I just mentioned just now, there's so many opportunities that are really out there. And it's okay to want to do all of them, but in most cases, reality sets in. We don't have enough capital to do everything. We don't have resources to do everything. So that what you are going to want to do in that scenario is really think about what's going to be the highest and most productive initiative that you can take on. What's going to make you the most money? What's going to make you the happiest, right? What are you going to enjoy the most? And prioritize, use those. You can even quantify that if you want to. If you're getting a hard time to figure out, which one, quantify and add them up in terms of, when you rate them, and what you land on could help you decide on, hey, this is the one that I want to focus on. So that's one aspect of your question. If you've got so many things, you've got to figure out how to prioritize, because often, you don't want to spread yourself so thin that you can't really do much. Focus on the things that are going to bring you the biggest benefit. The second part of your question is what happens to a lot of people all the time. They have all these genius ideas, and until somebody else does it, they said, oh, why didn't I do that? I thought of that already, right?
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
What makes an entrepreneur very successful is folks that take action, right? And sometimes people think that you need to know all the answers. You have to have everything absolutely worked out from A to Z. That's not how it often works. It's often, it just starts with you taking the first step, right? And trying to figure it out along the way, getting the right people around you to help you and support you so that you can get off the ground. One of the key things that I would also mention pertaining to that is, you want to think about, what action steps that make sense. But when you can't figure out all the action steps, leverage other resources. Leverage people who might be doing well in that space and ask them, how do I get there? You can go to AI
AI.
today. You know, I swear, I go to AI for a lot of stuff. So I swear by it. You know, it can help you figure out, you know, what steps to take when you don't know. There's so many different resources that you can that often is at our fingertips. You can go to YouTube, and oftentimes people are trying different things, and they will tell you, you know, what they did. There's books to read. There's so many resources. I can't underscore the amount of resources that, you know, with a computer or the library that we really have at our fingertips, and we've got to utilize them when we don't have the answers, and that would give us the epiphany to take positive action to get off the ground and stop just thinking about it, but taking
Doing
action.
it. And so the education system, we here represented the Ministry of Education
Yep.
and the schools, right? Which means that we also representing the students and the parents.
Yes.
And we therefore have a responsibility to help our students and parents to develop those mindsets where they're not scared of the loan, but also a mindset where they can now look out there and come up with a business based upon what they see.
Yes.
Yeah, and is there anything that you could say to the education system or to parents listening about getting us ready for that mindset development?
Yes, Hyson,
To
that's
think
also
differently?
Yeah, that's a great question that you're posing as well. You know, I always talk about, you know, instilling and developing a growth mindset. A growth mindset is one that you're always learning and always recognizing that you don't know everything and you will never have all the answers. But if every exposure, every chance that you take, every failure that you have, it's an opportunity to learn.
Exactly.
Right? And so just, you know, on that base, don't be scared of anything. Like, it's okay to fail. You know, use everything and everything around you, every resource, every person, every child, every, you know, young person, old person, you know, wherever you are, learn from everybody. And always have that mindset that somebody or that you're engaging with can teach you something. And so that's what I say is like the critical way of thinking, because that's a game changer in how you're going to approach things in life to get much further ahead than others. It's really adopting that growth mindset. That's critically important. And that growth mindset is one where, yes, I always have a lot to learn. And no matter how much I learn, there's so much
Something
more
else
to
to
learn.
learn.
Yes.
Okay, right now in the school as well, in the homes,
Yep.
we sent out a survey. It's a group, it's a partnership, I would say, between the Ministry of Education, Youth Affairs and Sports, because, you know, youth now is no longer with education, but they still belong to us. We still have them hugged up. Yeah? And this group, Creative Campus Eco Institution. What we asking parents to do is to help their students, the children, to respond to the survey. It's just 4 simple questions. But the most important question is about the students' passion. And I noticed that you said that word earlier in your answer about having a passion
Yes.
for what you do.
Yes.
And so now my question is, yes, we are at the Ministry of Education. We are trying to find out from our students what they are passionate about.
Yes.
And then we are planning to use that data to come up with projects and programs that we can teach them outside of the school and eventually to incorporate them into the curriculum. Yeah. So I'm then using this opportunity to remind parents to get their children to fill out the survey. But the question then for you is how do you see someone's passion, or do you see someone's passion helping them to come up with their small business? Or does it have a role?
Yeah, it absolutely does. There's a direct connection there. Like, you know, if you have a love for cars, there might be an opportunity to learn about, you know, how do you fix cars. And in this today's world where cars are more and more technology, focused, it's an opportunity to learn more about that and to marry that passion with, that skill and developing that skill, honing that skill so that you can, continue in that area. Passion is really important because, when you want to give up, when you might be demotivated about something, passion will keep you going, because you just want to see you're passionate about this thing. And so you want to just continue on that. And so passion, I think, is critical component to motivation, to being consistent. Those key areas that are vital to being successful as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so back to the students. The students, we are suggesting that they tell us about their passions.
Yeah.
We are not suggesting that parents say, let's become a medical doctor.
Yeah.
Now, here's the situation. I'm passionate about photography, but I have the skills to be a medical doctor. Maybe right off the bat or early in the game, after I've studied and got my PhD, I'm a brain surgeon.
Yeah.
So my income is high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'm passionate about photography.
Yeah.
And it's going to take me longer to make that amount of money that I probably would make in the initial stages as a medical doctor or as a lawyer.
Yeah.
But there's a certain amount of stress, or even as a teacher, there's a certain amount of stress that I'm going to feel in the other career paths that could demotivate me.
Yes.
But then I'm a photographer and I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
What would you suggest our children do?
That's a really good question.
Oh, okay.
And so what I would say is that whatever you want to do, don't make it mutually exclusive. Like, don't make it, okay, I go path A or path B. Explore both paths. Like, there's, especially as a young age, like there's so many things that you can still get exposed to. So don't limit your options, is what I'm saying. Try as many things and see what you're most passionate about. Don't make money the reason why you tried things as well. Like, if you're really passionate about something, there's a way to monetize, in any path, whether it's fixing cars or being a doctor or what. They can all make a lot of money. But so I wouldn't start off as, okay, hey, because I want to make a lot of money, I'm going to be a doctor. I'd say, see if you like biology and you like how cells are and, how they made up. And if it makes you curious and you understand what a mitochondria is and I was really excited. I mean, I could remember back, these are things that I was taught when I was in Mr. Taylor's class back in secondary school. And I still remember those things to this day. And I even use some of that language in business, right? Like it all translates over. And so I would say, I wouldn't say, hey, I'm not going to focus on Mr. Taylor's class because, I prefer chemistry or I prefer maths and I'm going to just continue to be curious about it. Learn, absorb, be a sponge, soak it all up, right? And see what just gets you the most excited. And then, as you go on, then you can maybe start focusing a little bit on the, one area or the other. But at a young age, just get exposed to as many things as possible, and then see what really ignites your fire. And then you start kind of, prioritizing. But start off very broad. Don't be mutually exclusive. Don't choose one or the other starting off. Just soak up as much as you can, and then as you get a little older and wiser, and you're something is really sparking a fire for you, that's where then you go with that. And then also see where the opportunities, take you to. Like, I remember how, growing up, I wanted to be either a pilot or a banker, right?
Yeah.
And I was very passionate about being a pilot. Like, I wanted to fly a plane, right?
Yeah.
And there were no opportunities, like there was no, and it was cost prohibitive because it was very expensive to pay for licenses and so forth. And so unless you went into the Air Force or something like that, it wasn't really a possibility. But I had a lot of opportunities in finance, and I was good at it as well. And then in banking and so forth, and then which led to a career in that, and then that exposed me into more. And then I got super excited because you could be in banking, but then you could be in wealth management, you could be in private banking, you could be in retail banking, you could be in heavy metals. There's so much that when you get into a space that you realize there's even so much more.
Exactly.
And so I ended up down that path because the resources and opportunities led me that way. So sometimes it's other things will influence where you go, but really start with what's igniting your fire. And it was two things. It was pilot, and I could have gone either way, but I end up going the finance route and the business route because I had a lot more opportunities in that sector.
I was listening to your discussion with Basil on Tuesday, and you said something that I want to bring up tonight because it might be a different audience listening to us. You said something about your faith, and I think that's an important point for us to share with our parents tonight, those who are listening, because when you're at a crossroad, and I too believe in that faith, you're at a crossroad, you have the opportunities, like you said, or the mind and the skill set to go two different routes. But there are times when your faith needs to direct you.
Yes.
And so you have faith, you have opportunity, and you have passion.
Yes.
And then you also said something that I need our parents to zoom in on about making that foundation as wide and as inclusive as possible.
Yes, yes.
And I need our parents to listen to that because we do have some students who are just in love with music. And so they don't want to go to the math class. And they don't want to go English class. They just want to be in music. And now that we're doing the survey and asking about your passions, we still need to sell the idea that, listen, that foundation needs to be wide. Your numeracy and literacy skills need to be good. And so, although that's not one of our questions that I shared with you, can you just go back a bit to just share with our audience your wide exposure of early education? Yes.
You talked about, that importance of faith. That's kind of where you started with this question. And I'll expound on that. So that comes from, really critical success factors that were key to my success in my life. And so I call that the 4 Bs, and I've talked about that before, right? And so the first one is building your brain. The second one is building your board. That means the people around you. They've got to issue positivity. They've got to be people who are going to uplift you. They're going to give you advice. They're going to help you to, open doors, that kind of thing. They're going to say good things about you when you're not in the room, that type of thing, right? They're going to be sponsors and not just mentors. So that's the board. As I said, the first B was the brain. It's like what you read. It's like what you eat. So you always have to think about building the brain. That's that growth mindset that I talked about earlier. And then the third B is that brand. How do you carry yourself? How do you show up? How do, when people think about certain things, that thing should be tied to you, whatever you want that to be. Like, if you want it to be about music, if people think about music, and that's your brand, like, you should be the first person that comes up, right?
Exactly.
When I think about, like, radio station and DJs, I think immediately about Basil, right?
Exactly.
That's his brand. That's what he does. That's, so that's that third B, brand, is really important to really charting kind of where you're going in life. And it'll open more opportunities and more doors to things that are along that path. The fourth B is what you're talking about. And that fourth B is balance, right?
Okay.
It's about knowing when to prioritize certain things, right? And so it's about balancing your time. And balancing your time doesn't mean like, you're
50-50.
getting 20% for Hyacinth, 20%, for the family, 20% for, this project, 20% for work, and then that's your 100% of your time. No, it means that sometimes you've got to, Hyacinth, I would have to give all my time to you. Or sometimes I got to give all my time to the family. Like, or sometimes you got to give all your time to the work that you're passionate about.
Exactly.
And so you have to recognize that balance and when you have to rebalance. Because if you're doing too much work and not doing too much family, that could create an issue, and that throws things off. The same thing is you've got to prioritize faith, all right? And this is critically important because we talked about this earlier too. You might not know the way forward. You might not have the answer to the challenge that's in front of you. And every day we wake up to face challenges, right? And you've got to have faith that, yes, there is a solution to everything. And maybe I might have to pray for that solution to come to me. Maybe that, hey, I need to take a step of faith, taking that first step. And then that second step comes to you, and then that third step. And then before you know it, it's like, how did I even get this far? Right? So faith is really important to success.
So true.
Knowing that, hey, you are, a part of a bigger ecosystem and like what you do every day could make a ripple, which could make a wave, which could change the entire world. True. That's how impactful that we could be with our everyday life. And having faith that you're doing the right things, you're taking the right decisions to make that legacy impactful action that is going to save lives, is going to change lives, going to, really change the world. So that dash that I always talk about, when you're born and then when you die, there's a dash in there. Now on your gravestone, it's a small dash, but that's your life. And
I
so
never thought of it like that before you said it. It was like weird.
That's your life. And so dash. What do you do with that dash? And you have to have faith in that dash, right? Because there's some days like you don't know, like, if you're going to wake up tomorrow. Right? Like every day is a blessing. And so what do you do with that dash? And have faith that you're going to take all the right steps. God is going to give you that guidance and wisdom to move in the right direction, to be impactful within our dash. So that's faith. And and then also too, within that balance, I think it's always really important to prioritize paying it forward, which is giving back.
Giving back.
Helping somebody up, giving that lifting hand, because, that lifting hand could be a game changer. It can save someone's life. It can change an entire family.
Exactly.
It can change a country. So, you never know. And so you always just altruistically just give back. Give back without expecting anything. And that could be game changing as well. And that's that fourth B. That's the balance part of it. So, don't always take time. Take time for yourself, of course. You've got to prioritize yourself and treat yourself. But you also have to give back, because that's also an important thing for all of us to do within our dash.
I want to make a comment on balance. The first time I realized that I was passing on balance was when I said something to my son. And he said to me, "Mommy, don't worry, I'm balancing my time." And by the way, Mommy, balancing my time does not mean 50-50.
Yes.
And I was like,
That's
where did you
genius.
learn that? And he said, "But you taught me." No, I never had the discussion with him about balance.
Yeah.
But I bring this up to say to parents that we have to be careful of what we are doing in the household, and to teachers.
Yes.
Because he was seeing me balancing my time
Yes.
and not providing 50-50.
Yeah.
So who was I to tell him about balancing his time?
Yeah.
Because he had figured out maybe 20% should go to what I was telling him to do.
Of course. Yeah.
So he shut me up, but
Yeah.
he also made me realize what it meant to be a parent and to we're passing on to our kids things that we don't even realize that we're passing
every
on.
day.
Parents and teachers.
They emulate us in so
Yes,
many ways.
yes.
And sometimes I see
Yeah.
that with my own.
Yeah.
I can't call them kids anymore. They say
Well,
they're young adults.
Yeah, they're adults.
So with these young adults, they emulate us in a lot of
Yes,
ways.
yes.
And like my son, for example, you know, he's an avid seller. He looks for an arbitrage opportunity for whatever, whether it's sneakers, phones, headsets, whatever. And he does well selling them, right? And that's something that I've always done. And like
You didn't realize he was
and
learning
I,
it.
like I didn't realize that I was such a you know, a huge teacher in that. But you know, because now I want him to do some other things, and all he wants to do is sell. And so I'm like, oh man, maybe I taught him too much on that side.
You just brought up something that's not on my paper here.
Sure.
Where maybe that's why money stays in certain families.
Yes.
It could be,
it's
ain't
true.
it?
It's
Yeah.
true. Because they learn certain habits. They learn how to be consistent with in certain ways. They expose them to handling money, how to deal with risk, how to mitigate risk, how to grow the wealth, how to think outside of the box. These are all things that sometimes, you know, we might not do, and in wealth circles they do, and so, you know, those things could be game changing. And you know, for me, and I can tell you, growing up, I came from a very humble family, right? Super humble, and you know, I love my mom and dad to death, but there's certain things that I was taught, you know, when I went off to business school or in certain circles of wealth that I would have never learned from them. And so sometimes it does mean that if you're not in that circle, if you want to be somewhere, you need to, you know, engage those people to get to that level. Because there's actually a research that says you're the average of the 5 people that you keep closest to you, right? So you think about that. You know, are you, you know, bringing up or bringing down that average?
That's why I'm keeping next to you.
And so yeah, sometimes you've got to leave the circle that you're in and introduce yourself to a new circle that of where you want to be. Surround yourself with people who are going to elevate you.
True. Yeah, I heard that too, but I didn't really hear about it being an average, but it's more, and the Bible says it. Yeah, so it's there. It's something for us to listen to and to take note of.
Sure.
Some persons listening, and you answered some of this question already, but I want you to do the other part. Some persons listening may look at your accomplishments and success and could conclude that the road was easy, or that you started from, that's the part you answered, family money. Would you mind sharing about any mindset adjustments that you may have had to make as you moved forward in your life? And you mentioned about the school exposing you and so forth.
It's a fallacy. It's false to think that the road to success is easy. It's not, you know, and if it's easy, it's probably not going to be long-lived success. So, right? So, you know, what you've got to know is that the road for success is going to be, there's going to be challenges that's going to get in the way. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be mountains. You know, it's going to be painful. You know, there's so many things that get into the way of you achieving sustainable success. And then there's things that you're going to have to continue to do to maintain the success. Because when you get to success, it's not done. Like you still have to continue every day to either maintain or continue to grow that success. And so I would say it's not easy. And I've learned a lot of things. And some of those things are the nuggets that I've dropped today, which is one is having that growth mindset, because along the way you're going to fail, but fail fast, right? And learn from it. Fail fast and learn from it and use that knowledge to, elevate yourself. And so it's not without failure. It's not without challenge, and it's not without pain. And oftentimes people don't see it.
They don't see
people
the
don't,
rough
and they
times.
won't see it, or they don't want to see it, right? But they might only see kind of the fruits
results.
of the labor, if you will. But they don't see when you're planting the seeds. They don't see when you're sowing the ground. And so it's knowing that those painful components are a critical part of achieving the success. And knowing that there's a solution to every pain, for every challenge. You can get through the mountain, you can get over the mountain, you can get around the challenge. There's a solution for every single thing. You might not figure it out today, but tomorrow you might.
Right.
It might be next year when you figure it out. But keep faith, and you're going to get there. Leverage all the things that I just talked about, all the 4 B's.
Yeah.
Because those are all things that are going to keep you on that path to sustainable success. It's that continuing to build your brain, that growth mindset kind of thinking. It's that surrounding yourself with that board who's going to eschew positivity. It's going to be those folks who you cultivate. That's going to talk great about you when you're not in the room.
True.
It's that brand that you build. Like if anybody thinks of a scarf, they're gonna think of me, right? I just genuinely love scarves, and I collect them from every country in the world that I go to, and I've been to 44, so I've got a lot of scarves, and so, but they know me for that, and then
True.
that's what I like how I like to show up, and so. Those B's that building your brain, that building your board, building your brand, and the fourth one, building your balance. All of those are key to navigating through the challenging times to achieve and maintain sustainable success.
I like that word sustainable, and I think the education system, we probably need to start to spread this 4B idea, because I think our students need to understand the importance of building the brain. Well, actually all 4, because who they associate with on the compound can pull them away or to.
Yes.
Right? So the classes that they go to and how much energy they put, or balance for study, balance for recreation is important. Brand, what would be brand for our students?
Brand is like what you're known for. Like what
known
is
for
your
good
brand?
or known for
like,
bad?
My brand is that hey, I'm known as a finance guy. Like I've went to school, and I went to the top finance school in the USA. And I've worked in banking. I've done everything that I've done in my career, in my life. I volunteered. I was a mentor for, within that space, because that's part of my brand. That's the thing that I was passionate about, and I made that part of my brand. If I could think about certain people, and I could think, hey, if I need a car fixed, like this is the best person to go to. Okay. If I think about, hey, if I want to get this furniture, like I know, your husband is someone I would go to, because that's his brand, right?
Got you.
So so that will bring you success
Yeah.
because when someone wants to build a cabinet, they're gonna know that's the
check on
person
it.
they're gonna immediately think of. When I want to fix a car, I've got who I'm going to go
Yeah,
to because
exactly.
you're right. That's their brand, right? That's how they show up all the time, and so that's the brand piece because it's going to bring opportunities to you when you're not even seeking them.
Okay, so for our children, students, it won't be obvious while they're at school, completely obvious what their brand is. But we need to sell to them the positive brand ideas.
Yes.
So positive behaviors.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
respect.
yes. So
High moral.
Yes. Yeah, so I would say, some cornerstone items that should always be part of your brand no matter what. One is being positive, being overly positive, right? Two, being thankful, right?
Yeah.
Just appreciate and be grateful for anything that anyone does for you or with you. Just always be overly thankful. You can't be thankful enough. Those two are really important. The other thing is, be confident. Like, you might not know
That's
the answer,
important.
but really just be confident that, hey, just think that, hey, I'm month's ration. I can do anything. And to me, that drives my confidence. And so I will try anything, right? I would go up against anyone. Because I know, hey, as a month's ration, we're small, but we big, and we can and we can achieve anything that we put our minds to, right? And with that thought, that's a cornerstone of my confidence, right? I'm happy to come up on this show or any show because I'm confident that I can, hold my own and speak for myself. And sometimes they say in Montreal, you're back broad.
Yes.
Right? And so that's part of being confident. So those are some three kind of attributes that I would say should be always part of your brand. But certainly you want to tailor your brand to what you're passionate about so people always think of you or associate you with that. Just like, when you think about best sneakers in the world, you think about Nike, you think about Adidas, right? The same thing is you've got to build your brand just like how they build their brands.
Yep. And I added consistency to what you were saying as some of the skills for brand building for our students. Dr. Morton, you are a parent and part of a family. I have seen families who have built and maintained wealth, and I have seen families who have not, as well as those who did not build on the wealth left for them by foreparents. Are you in a position to make suggestions to our parents, students, teachers, and community as to how we can use loans to support, maintain, and expand the legacy left or built? Also, are there any skills that you had to enact or put in place to assist you in achieving success in your business ventures? Loaded question.
That's a loaded. Can you repeat the question for me one more time?
Okay, so let's take it in steps. Yeah, let's talk about...
break it up for me.
Yeah, let's break it up. I went to town.
You asked like about five questions in one.
Five questions in one.
We can start with the first one. And
Okay,
then we
yes,
can
let's do
break it
the
up in
first
chunks.
part. I was basically, in a nutshell, I'm saying that there are persons who either were born into money or built their money.
Yep.
But then when they leave this world, when their dash is gone, the money either is built on or lost. Yes, or used badly. And so I was just asking if there are any suggestions out there of how loans can help to prevent, or maybe they might make them worse depending on how it's been used.
Yeah, so good question. So what I would say is this, is that, in life, we look to kind of build as much as we can so that we can pass on. So, our children and the people that we love don't have to start at the same
right, or
place
behind.
that we started, right? You want to elevate so that they're starting at a much better starting point.
Yeah.
I think that's important for, any family to want for the next generation. Right? That's the first. But how, in terms of connecting that with loans, I would say this. wealth is often created by leveraging other people's money. So even if you have money, you should still be leveraging other people's money. So even if, I was left $1 million, it doesn't mean that I should use that $1 million. It means that I should leverage that $1 million so that I can maybe get some more funding to put it to use to do something else while that is actively growing, So you always want to, really look to see, okay, how can I leverage other money to continue to grow rather than necessarily put the money that was handed to you at risk, right?
That makes sense.
So that's one thing. The other thing that I would say is always look to see if you can invest the money into residual-based initiatives. When I say residual-based initiatives, I mean initiatives that you're gonna do one time and it's gonna generate money for the rest of your life, rather than linear type of thinking. Linear thinking is, okay, I put in this much time, I make this much money. Tomorrow I put in this much time, I make so that's linear. That's what most people do, right? That's like a job, like a 9 to 5.
Yeah, 9 to 5.
Right? But when you're doing residual things, you're doing stuff like, okay, you're buying a house, and the house is going to go up in value, and so while you're sleeping, money's being made. When you're thinking about, writing a book, you write a book, and then it goes out there and sells for forever. That's making money. You write a song, and you get rights and royalty to it. Every time the radio station plays it, guess what? You make money. You get royalties. Those are residual-based stuff. You think about, okay, well, it's this door lock. It's not, the best kind of way to make a door lock. Let me reinvent a door lock, and I can sell it. You patent it, and then you continue to make money from that patent, right? So there's a lot of residual type of opportunities. And again, I would say use AI, use, ChatGPT, use all those things to find out, hey, what residual type of things can I be doing? And it will give you those answers. But I say, always think about that as a way of how you continue to grow and how do you maximize the use of your time to grow wealth and continue to really enjoy life rather than just trading your time for money.
Okay, so we are running out of time. So here's what I'm
We're just getting hot.
Yes. Here's this question. Is there a relationship among sustainable business practices, loans, and mindset?
If there is a relationship between
sustaining your business or having sustainable business practices, acquiring loans, and you're having the right mindset to...
Yes. There is a direct correlation, I would say, between those. In terms of the business, I said, it's you got to have the right habits, right? It's thinking contingency, thinking risk mitigation, thinking of managing your money, having even a basic P&L, which is a profit and loss statement. Say, hey, this is how much money I'm bringing in. This is my expenses. And this is the money that I'm making, like tracking that, right? And so that you know what kind of cash flow that you're having, because cash flow is king. The same thing that is true with the loans. Like if you don't have the cash flow, how are you going to pay the loans, right? And don't overextend yourself. Don't borrow too much. Borrow what you need, right? Look at it as part of, how much money that you're going to make, and try to keep it as a low percentage. Like make sure it's under 40% of the money that you're going to make, because then that leaves 60% for you to do other things. Right? So those are all, I think, very correlated, and so you have to take all that in conjunction to be successful, and to be successful in a sustainable way.
Yeah, because that's the whole idea. You don't want to start a business and then unable to keep it going, and then you lost your money. Well, it wasn't your money, but you still have to pay it back, right?
Yeah.
So this loan initiative that we're doing, MBPF,
Montreat Business Progressive Fund.
What's the rate of repaying?
Oh yeah, great question.
Yeah.
So it's actually the cheapest money that you can actually get.
Yeah.
It's you can get up to 50,000, and it could amortize over 8 years, which makes the payment really small. And the interest is only 2.5%. Simple interest, not even compound interest.
Okay.
It's simple interest. So
Yeah, that's good.
it's the cheapest money that you can certainly get.
All right. Thank you. We didn't answer all our questions, but they're always gone. So I'm going to ask you to just give us summaries or anything that you would like to leave with our listening audience, either
Yes.
directly about the loan or about educating our children to have the right mindset to use loans and grow their sustainable businesses.
Yes.
Anyone.
First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you
welcome.
for this opportunity to be here to share the wisdom. It's always an absolute pleasure to be sitting next to you. Hi. That's number one, right?
That's
so
not
thank
bad.
you for that.
Welcome.
Thank you for the listening public out there. This has been positive for me, and I really enjoy the experience. I would say a couple things, and then we talked about. One is always maintain a growth mindset.
Sure.
That's really key. Always keep learning. Always, look at everything as an opportunity to learn. Look at everybody that you engage with as an opportunity to learn.
Okay.
And that goes into the 4 B's that we talked about in terms of building your brain, building your board, the people that you have around you, people who are positive, and so it helps you to stay positive. It's building your brand, like what people know you for, and building that balance. Prioritizing, faith, making, effective use of your time, prioritizing giving back,
Yes.
prioritizing yourself,
Yep.
Prioritizing family, right? And so those are all really important aspects to being successful on a sustainable way. Because
true.
you could be making a whole bunch of money and you're not happy.
You're not
that
happy,
doesn't
yes.
that
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. The success is not going to be sustainable because then
Yes.
it's not even going to matter.
Yes.
So those are some of the
Yes.
key things that I think that we talked about that's important. Also, too, in terms of loans, I would say don't overextend yourself. Get what you need, right? Also, too, we talked about look for business opportunities in terms of being
Yes, we
entrepreneurial.
did,
Look
yeah.
at where the pain points are, right? And you try to solve those pain points for people. People will pay for you to solve those things. And that's how you generate money as an entrepreneur. Think about where the gaps are in the market. Like someone's, bringing in fish, right?
Yeah,
but
I love
who's
that
cleaning
one.
them, right? Right? Who's cleaning
I
them?
love
Like,
that one.
there's an opportunity now to be able to clean more fish. And so, that's a pain point. The customer doesn't really want to do that.
No, I don't.
I tried doing it, I remember over the summer, and it wasn't very successful. So I would pay for that.
think I would
so
too.
you got to think about the gaps and the pain points and solving those, and that's important. And also think in a residual mindset rather than a linear mindset.
Yeah.
How can I do something one time that's going to make me money while I sleep
Yeah.
overnight for the rest of my life, rather than trading my time for money every day, because then you'll be just tied to that.
Yeah, totally agree with all the points. And I too would like to thank you for always saying yes when I ask. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
And so I'll let you know that I'm going to call you back at some point.
Oh, that's fine. I'll
Yes.
come anytime for you.
Is all the money finished? Or the loan?
No.
Is everything
So
done?
at this point, there's 805,000 that's
Okay.
been capitalized, so just under $1 million. But there's still 1.2 million, and again, it's a sustainable type of fund. So as people pay, that money goes back
in. Oh,
the
perfect.
fund to be
Yes.
able to help to
help
fund
somebody
other
else.
people
I
as
like
well.
that. I like
so
that.
it could go on,
Yes,
continuously, and not
sustainable.
just helping someone and then not being able to
Right.
help anybody else.
Perfect. Well, to our listening audience, I would like to thank you for being with us. And we didn't get any questions tonight, but I hope that you understood everything that was said and that you're now stimulated to think about the pain points
Yeah.
and starting to grow your own business. And those of you who are in business, contact Dr. Gary Morton. Is there place or an
Yes,
email?
yes, yes. So 2 opportunities. They can go to the CABSEC office, which
Yes.
is across from the police station.
Yes.
There, and there's a whole staff that's awesome. They're awesome folks. I'm excited to be working with them. They're super helpful. Also, too, you can email MBPF. That's M for Montserrat, B for business, P for progressive, and F for fund. At gov.ms. And you can also email that, mbpf at gov.ms. And you can get help from there. You can reach me on Facebook. I'm always on
Yes.
Facebook. And then reach out, and I'm happy to then share my direct WhatsApp or what have you. And I'm happy to help anybody at any time. I said I prioritize giving back, and I see as this is an opportunity to give back. So I'm happy to help anybody at any time.
Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night.